What's up, guys? So this video is going to show the new remote shifter kits that I'm going to have for sale. So I finally got the blue Silverado taken apart. It's going to be a separate video for cleaning the interior and taking it all apart and putting it back together, but this video is just going to be about the remote shifter kit. So as you can see, I already have the bracket there on the floor, but let's go over there and look at the kit now. So before I talk about the kit, I just want to talk about the console swap itself and the fitment of the kit and the purpose of the kit. So the kit will work with any 99-06 Silverado with a factory 5-speed. That can be either the NV3500 or NV4500, and then 3/4 tons. I never did verify that my other kit that I sold worked with the ZF6, so I can't guarantee that. But the kit will work with any 99-06 Silverado with a 5-speed using the 03-06 Silverado console, as you see here. It will not work with the 99 console. It will not work with the Escalade console. So the parts you need for the console swap, obviously full console, glove box trim, and this front bracket that goes to the dash. Obviously the console bolts to that. In particular, in the 9902, you need the knee bolster piece that goes under the steering wheel. And that's because this piece is actually 1 inch narrower than the 99 one to fit this console. So you're going to need that for the 9902 trucks. Also, I'd just like to mention, when people talk about price and complain about the cost of things, I just want to put this out there that I got this console from a U-Bolt junkyard for about $25. Got the front bracket for it with it for free because I put 1 bolt in it and connected to the console. I got this piece from a different junkyard, a U-Bolt junkyard, for about $4, and this piece was another $4. So I just want to put that little side note in there for anybody that thinks they have to pay $300-400 for the console and these parts. So you can get these if you find them in a junkyard. You don't have to go spending $400 or $500 on them. So with the console, you need to remove all the pieces in the front. There's a subwoofer. If there might be some air vent tubes, whatever's in the front here, you have to take it out and then make a cut in the inside, enough room for the shifter. So you can kind of see where I cut there for reference. That's what you have to do. Alright, moving on to the shifter. Also, just want to say that these are the only parts that I sell. I'm going to sell the remote shifter kits. The cup holder with the leather boot attached, modified 4x4 lever and template, and this 4x4 shifter only works for 99-05. The design changed in 06, so will not work with that. The remote shifters and all the parts you see here are going to be on my website for sale very soon. So I'm not going to sell the consoles or any of these parts. I may have one extra one of these on my website for sale at some point, but the console and these other parts I will not sell. So here's the remote shifter kit, and it works with the stock shifter, stock threaded stub. Does not require the use of a short throw shifter, which saves you another $300. So here's the piece that mounts to the stock shifter. It's threaded. If anybody's wondering, it's M16 by 1.5. Got the correct angle and offset for that to be perfectly straight. You'll see it in the truck when I install it, but that's that piece. Got a straight connecting rod with welded pivot ends on each side. And here's the shift lever using a tie rod. The mounting point there. This one in particular is a 2015 Camaro knob. That's my favorite style, and I also will sell a kit using the MGW flat stick, as you see here. This one's silver. I'll have a couple silver, a couple black. So like I said, I also sell the modified cup holder with the leather boot attached, the 4x4 lever and template. The template is needed to cut the side of the console right here. We'll fit right there and line it up, make a mark. I usually put tape over it to mark it, and then I just cut it with a jigsaw with a really sharp new blade. It usually makes a nice cut. So also remove this panel when you cut it. Makes it a lot easier. Also like to mention, each kit comes with bolts and hardware, nylon locking nuts on these and on the tie rod piece that goes into the bracket. The L-shaped bracket is not here. It's already installed in my truck, so I'll show you that in a little bit, but the kit comes with everything you need to install it. Mount the L bracket with these self-tapping screws, and they are long enough to go through 2 layers of floor support right there. It's nowhere near the transmission or anything like that. So when you install the L bracket, We'll go through 2 layers with these. And they hold pretty good in my opinion. So I got my jigs made to be able to produce these kits. So I'm going to go ahead and show the install process. I'll just explain it a little bit here and maybe show you what I'm talking about a little bit. But here's the kit like I said. I didn't show the bracket earlier, but here's what the bracket looks like. So you only need a few tools, just a 3/4 socket or wrench or both, and probably an impact driver of some sort with a 5/16 driver to do the self tappers in the bracket. And you can use the 3/4 for this bolt as well. So not many tools, and then you just need a little bit of grease for the bolts connection points. So first thing I want to do is take your front connection point and just thread it on the stock shift tower. You're going to pretty much thread it all the way on to the stock jam nut down there, and then just line it up as close to straight. Then we'll get that good and tight later. I'm going to go ahead and install your connecting rod next. I used grease just now, but you can go ahead and test fit it without grease first to make sure, and then go back and put grease on the bolt. So just put a little bit of grease on the bolt before you install it, and then just tighten it up, make sure the rod moves freely. The tightness of that bolt can change how stiff your shifter feels, so just go ahead and play with that a little bit, and then install your connecting rod on there. Then you can put the shift lever on next. Alright, this is what you're going to have after you assemble the shifter. Go ahead and put your bracket on there. Disregard the bracket I have on the floor already. But once you have that assembled, you can see that it moves here. You're going to want to go ahead and set it down in place, and you want to measure off of this point right here when you install the front bracket for the console. Measure from there back to the knob. You're going to get about 11 1/4. And then when you shut the passenger door, you're going to measure from right here under the lock over across to the center of your shift knob. It should be right around 35 1/4. So once you get those measurements, set the bracket down in place, and you can go ahead and cut your carpet. You're going to cut your carpet like this and then flip it over and get your shifter sitting back in the right spot again. Then you can make a mark around the bracket with a marker or whatever, and then take your shifter off, put the bracket back down, then you can install the bracket with the self-tapping screws. So probably just want to get the screws started. They will go through 2 layers like I said. Once you have them started to thread in, take them back out and clean out the metal shavings, and you put the bracket back down and install it for good. When you flip your carpet back down, it can look like that. And if you take the bracket out, put that carpet back down, it might not look like you ever cut it. So also, if you had an extended cab, there's a floor air vent right here. The bracket will be pretty much right behind it. So at this point, you're just about done. You have the shift lever attached to the bracket with the nylon locking nut. And then it should be pretty much in place. You can make sure it feels good. And then go ahead and tighten your jam nut on the bottom of there. Factory jam nut that comes on the truck. So 15/16 wrench, just tighten that up. Get that tight, and then make sure it all works correctly. Should be good to go. So that's all it takes to install it. Like I said, go ahead and make sure everything feels right. Go ahead and adjust these bolts if you have to, tighten or loosen if it feels stiff, or if you hear a little bit of play in the bolts. But that should be it. Probably want to take your shift knob on to install the console. Put that back on after the console, but I'll go ahead and throw the console in now and put everything back together. Show you what it looks like all together. Alright, here's the Camaro style remote shifter kit installed with the console. Take a look at the throw here. It is longer without the use of the short throw, but it's more of a factory feel. Shifts a lot more like a factory car would. With the short throw, my old kit was pretty stiff, was pretty short. I think I prefer this feel. I still attach my shift boots the same way as I usually do. A little bit of electrical tape wrapped around tight around the base, and then go a little bit down onto the shift lever. Stays really nice and tight, never moves, never slides down. It looks really good in my opinion. You don't see anything bulging out. So that's what I recommend. So I'm going to put the shifter kits for sale up on my website, www.remoteshifters.com. They should be up for sale as soon as this video goes live, so you go ahead and go there and take a look if you want. I will be building all the kits to order, so I will not keep any in stock. It will be up to a week to build it. Like I said, it will have the Camaro style shifters, the MGW flat stick shifters, the modified 4x4 lever and template, and the cup holder with leather boot for sale. You can take a look at my website if you want to see those. So I realize you probably couldn't see that very good with that lighting and those other clips, so out outside here in the daylight, just wanted to give you a little better look at the shifter. Here's what the MGW flat stick shifter will look like installed. This is in my other truck, so I'm not going to show you what it looks like shifting because it is connected to the short throw shifter, which the kits that work with the short throw shifter I'm not selling anymore, if I didn't mention that before. The new kit will work with the stock shifter. So this is what the MGW one looks like. This one's black. I have a white knob on there. I will not be selling any of the knobs. You just have to get that yourself. Pick whichever knob you want. Will be 3/8 by 16 threads, so standard Hurst knob threads, but I'm sure there's lots of other knobs you can use for that as well. What it looks like from this side.